Hello, what is up everyone? Welcome back to a new video in which we'll be building this banking app UI. Basically, we'll be using Jetpack Compose, of course, to build this. So you would learn and see how we can use different components that are in Jetpack Compose to build UI. So we'll be using a bottom navigation bar. We'll create this expandable part. We could use a bottom shift for this, but I think this is more beautiful. This part has these currencies in here, and then we have these boxes and cards. So let's get started on building this UI. The first thing we need is to add these dependencies here. The first one is the system UI controller, and the second one is the extended icons library. We already know this one gives us more icons we can use in our app, and this one makes us change the color of the status bar, because by default it has the primary color, but we want it to be the same as the background colors for a better looking UI. Of course, we can change to dark mode, and this is how it looks like in dark mode. And so let's get started. In our main activity, we'll start creating the function that changes the status bar color. So let's create a new function here. Of course, it is a composable function. So composable private fun set bar color, I would call it set bar color, and it will take a color like this one, and then we'll write, let's create now the variable that changes the color. So var system UI controller is equal to remember system UI controller, and then inside a side effect block we'll be changing that. So side effect, we write system UI controller dot set bars color, this first one, and then we'll pass our color. So color is equal to color that we pass to this function. We just need to call now this function inside our app theme right here. So set bar color, and then the color we'll be using is the background color, as I said, so that it has the same color as the background. So material theme.color scheme.background, and this is it for the status bar color. Now let's create our screen. So it will be home screen, we'll call it home screen like this. And then let's create it, I guess I have an extra H here, let's create it down here. Our home screen is going to be a composable function. We can also write the preview annotation so we could see what we are building. So preview, and then fun home screen. Inside our home screen we'll use a scaffold. So scaffold, the scaffold makes us basically put the components we need for our app in the appropriate places, like bottom navigation and top bar, and also floating action button, and also bottom shift. But for now we need our bottom bar. So bottom bar is equal to like this, and I'm going to create it later. But inside here we need to create now our sections. The first one will be the wallet section. So let's check our app. I just call it wallet, but you could call it the top bar or something. I call it wallet because it has that wallet in there. So wallet section, let's comment that out, and then let's just duplicate this a few times. The second part is going to be the card section. So card section, basically this section that has these cards. Of course, these cards have gradient colors, so it starts from a darker purple to a lighter one, and the same for the other colors. We'll also see how we can create that. And then the other part, or the next part, is going to be the finance section. So finance like this. Of course, this one it's called finance, and then the last one is going to be the currencies section. So currencies like this. Between them we'll have a spacer, right here, so we have a little spacer here. So I'm going to put a spacer now, spacer that's going to have a height of 16.dp, and just import dp, import like this. And then inside here we need to add this experimental annotation. And then before that we need to put, actually I forgot, we need to put everything here inside a column. As you can see, all these items are on top of each other like this. That's why we need a common. I just forgot to mention that, so we'll use a common for that. And we'll use the padding values that we get from here. So padding like this to make that error gone. So here we need a modifier is equal to fill max size, and then dot padding, we'll use padding. So now the error is gone, and then we'll put everything here inside our column. I forgot a C right here. And then let's create our bottom navigation. I'm going to call it, of course, bottom navigation bar like this. And I'm going to create it inside another file. But first, actually, I forgot to mention that we need these two images. This is the master called icon that is used right here for this card, and as well the visa icon that is used right here. You can find these and the project that I will link in the description below on GitHub. And we need some colors actually as well. These colors, the purple start and end for the gradient for this card. So purple start, blue start and end, orange and green. So this is all you need, these two images and these 8 colors. After we write the function here, let's now create it inside our root package right here, new Kotlin class or file. We'll write bottom navigation bar. So the first thing is that we want to create the items or the list of items, because these items here inside our bottom navigation are a list of items that then we display. So first of all, let's create that var. I'm just going to call them items like this, and they are a list of. And then I need to create the data class for that. So inside again my root package, I'm going to create a new package called data to put all those data classes. And then inside it, I'm going to create the first one, that is the bottom navigation item. So like this. And this is going to be a data class. So data class. And this data class will have 2 properties. The first one is the title, that is of type string, and the second one is the icon of type image vector. So like this. So this is it for this data class, and now here I'm going to create them. So bottom navigation, this one. And then the title is going to be home, and the icon, so icon is going to be icons dot rounded dot home, like that. And then I'm just going to copy this one 3 more times here for the other items. The second one now is going to be wallet, and as well for the icon, so wallet. And then the third one is going to be notifications, and the same for the icon. Import that. Let's create some space down here. And then the last one is going to be account, and for the icon as well, account circle. This is the icon. After we've created our list, now let's create our function. So our function is going to be a composable function that is fun bottom navigation bar, because this is what I named it. This function will have a navigation bar inside it, that is going to also have a row, and this row will take a modifier for the background color, so background color, and the background color of the bottom navigation bar is going to be material theme.color scheme.inverse on surface. I choose this color because I want the bottom navigation bar to have the same color as this currencies section, and I think this is the best color, the most beautiful color for that. You can use a different color, of course, and you can just leave it without any color, but then this one will have a different color than this one, and that's not what I want. And then inside my row, I'm then going to create the items. So items.for each index that will return for me the index, and I'm going to rename this as item, the index and its item, and inside it I'm going to use a navigation bar item, this one that now has some parameters. Let me format this like this. It's not formatting by default, I don't know why. Since we are not navigating anywhere in our app, basically when we click on these other ones, we won't navigate anywhere. That's why I'm going to keep the first one as the selected one, so index is equal to 0. And then on the on click, of course, we won't do anything. And the icon, so the icon is going to be icons, not icons, but actually icon. Import that, and I'm going to use an image vector for this. Not sure if I imported the icon. I didn't. Image vector is going to be item.icon, and then the content description is going to be item.title, and the tint or the color of the icon is going to be the on background. So tint is equal to material theme.color scheme. Basically, for those who don't know what material theme.color scheme is, that's where we get the default colors. So our app supports dynamic colors. So right now, as you can see, they are like blue colors, but in case I change the background into a green one, let's wait for it. Now it's changed. If I launch the app, as you can see, everything will change into green. So if I use the colors inside this material theme.color scheme, that will support that, and then the app will change its colors according to the wallpaper. So let's go back to the blue one because I think it looks more beautiful. So color scheme on background, that's what I'm going to use for the tint. And then let's first see, I guess, the preview. We can actually check now the preview. Let's wait for it to build. As you can see, here is our bottom navigation, but we don't have those little titles yet. Let's create them by just adding label. So inside our navigation bar item, we're going to add now label. That is going to be a text. So text like this, and the text is going to be item actually dot title, and the color of this text as well is going to be so color is going to be material theme.color scheme.on background, the same as the icon tint, like this. I think I did not add any preview annotation here to see that. So preview like this. Now we can see it. As you can see, this is our bottom navigation here, and let's wait for this one. This is it. So this is it for the bottom navigation. Now let's move on to the wallet section. Let's uncomment that, and let's create a separate file for that one as well. So in our root package, Kotlin class or file wallet section. So inside our wallet section, we'll have a row. So the parent thing will be a row because we have this section that has this text and this other text here, and then this icon at the end here. And then inside that row will have a column for these two texts, and that's it for the wallet section. So composable, and I'm also going to add the preview annotation to see what we are doing. So preview fun, I guess I'm just going to paste that. Let's start creating, but let's first check our preview right here so we could see what we are doing. So let's create now a row, and inside our row we'll have a modifier, but not inside our row, but rather our row will take a modifier. So modifier dot fill max width, so that will fill the max width, and then dot padding, let's have some padding of 16 dp. Let's import dp now, import dp, and then the horizontal arrangement. So horizontal arrangement is going to be space by. What does that mean? You'll see right now in a second. And then the vertical alignment, so vertical alignment is going to be center vertically. So what does space between mean? It just means now our horizontal arrangement, so basically how our items inside our row are arranged inside this row, by using space between, it will push them to the start and to the end. So this section will be all the way to the start, and this one all the way to the right here, or to the end of the row. And if I use something else, like for example space evenly, there is another one called space evenly, then they will have even space from, like this part will have an even space, and then this one will have an even space, like they will be centered basically, but there will be an even space between them. But this is what I want exactly for this app. Now let's create a little bit of space down here, and then let's create our column that will hold the two texts, the wallet text and then the balance text. So column, oops, what is that? Column, our column won't have any modifiers, so we'll just have a text inside it, text, and the text is going to be wallet, and then let's format this, and then inside our text we need a modifier, so let's add a modifier to add padding, so modifier.padding, and then we'll have padding from the bottom, so we would have some space at the bottom, or we can just use a spacer instead of this. I'm going to use a spacer, and then I'm going to use the font size. So font size, I'm going to change that to be 17.sp. we use sp for texts, for text size, and dp for other element size, all other elements, but for text we use sp. And then the color of the text, so color is going to be material theme.color scheme.on background. And then as I said, I'm going to use a spacer right here, so spacer that is going to have height of like 8 dp. And then another text, I'm just going to copy this one and paste it down here. This one will have now the balance. Let's be a little rich and write something like, what did we write here? 35, or I don't know what that is, not 35 but 23, but I'm just going to write something that's too much, something like this. Actually this wasn't 33, this was 34 $1,000, and then the text size is going to be 24 sp, and it will be in bold, so the font weight is going to be bold like that. And then outside our column, but inside our row, we'll now have our icon, which is this search icon. Our search icon is going to be inside a box that is going to take a modifier to clip that thing, so clip rounded corners. This is how we can clip the corners of a box, and then 15.dp like this. And then the second thing, oops, the second thing we want is, let's just format this like this. The second thing we need is to have a background for that box. Basically the box is the container of this icon. So this is the box now that we just clipped like that, so it has rounded corners. For the background we're going to use material theme dot color scheme dot secondary container, this one, and then it will be clickable so that we would have this little click effect. I think that can be more noticeable or visible right here, as you can see. And as I said, it will be clickable like this. And then the last thing is some padding, so dot padding of 5 or 60p, the same. And then inside our box we now have our icon. So icon, let's import that. So icon, that is going to take an image vector of icons. So icons dot rounded dot search, that one. And then the content description, we need that, not null but rather search. And now the modifier to give it some size, but before the modifier let's first give it a color. So tint, oops, tint like this is going to be material theme dot color scheme dot on secondary container. And then the last thing is the modifier, as I said, so it has some size, or we can possibly just leave it without any, oops, let's bring that back like this. We don't even need to give it a size. I'm not sure why we can't see this text. I guess I didn't give it any color. Or let's run the app and see, it's not showing in the preview here. Or this is it, it now shows in our app. This is our wallet section. Now let's move on to the cart section. So close that, uncomment this, and let's copy this one again. Let's just close these files that we don't need. So copy this one, and inside our root package let's create a new file, cart section. Now let's create this function. So actually before of that, let's first create the items, the same as the bottom navigation section. So var items is going to be list, oops, is going to be list of, not that, list, this one. And let's now create a data class for that. So Kotlin class or file, it's going to be called card, and we're going to have a data class that now will have a bunch of attributes. So what they are, we need this image, and we need this text here, and another text and another text. So that's all we need, but this one won't be a text, actually this will be a long, so a number. Now this one will have, as I said, now card type to know what card is this, so whether it is a Visa card or a MasterCard, so that we assign the appropriate image to it. So card type of type string, I should have written vol right here, and then just duplicate this. The second one is to be the card number, and then the card name, so card name, and then the balance, so balance, that is actually going to be a long, as I said, and then the color, that is going to be a brush. So var color is going to be of type brush, and I will explain that in a moment. That's actually basically we use brush to create this gradient color, as I show you. Now right here, let's create our items. So the first one, card, this one, not actually that one, but let's import the right one. Yes, that one. Inside it, so card type, this, let's start with card type. We're going to use Visa, and then let's just again duplicate this. The second thing is going to be, oops, the card number. Card number is going to, let's write some random number right here. Hopefully they are not real numbers of a card. And then the card name, this one will be for business, so business. And then the balance, so balance, this will be a long, so let's write a number like this. So let's have this amount of money for that. I'm not sure why it's showing an error. Balance is a long. I'm going to find out now. Let's first give it now the color, and for the color I'm going to create a function that gives me the background color. So let's first see what error this is. Actually this needs to be a double, so I made a mistake. It shouldn't be a long but a double. And as I said, now let's create the function that gives us that gradient color. So down here let's create it, which should be actually a composable function. So fun get gradient. In fact it shouldn't be a composable function, no. That will take two colors, the start and the end color. So start color, and duplicate that, then the end color, and then with those two colors we return a brush. So the same as our property in our data class, so brush like this. Then we return brush dot horizontal gradient like this, and colors is going to be a list of our two colors, so start color and end color. That's how we actually create those. But actually these ones are of type color, and this one as well. So color, let's import that, this one, and let's just call it right here, get gradient. And the colors I'm going to pass for this one is going to be the purple start and purple end, this one. And now we have an error here. It says we already have a list called items. They're right. Now this one is going to be cards. So let's just copy this and paste it a few times for the other cards. Let's create 4 cards. Then the second card is going to be a master card. Oh, let's write that in capital letters. So master card, and then let's use like different numbers. Like that. And this one is going to be saving card, so savings like this. And let's have a different amount of money right there, and then let's use the blue color, so blue start and blue end. This one is going to as well be a Visa card. Let's use a different number, and this one is going to be a school card like this. And since no one cares about school, I'm just going to give it like a small number. So no, that's too small. Like this. This will take an orange start and orange end. And then the last one is going to be a MasterCard again, so MasterCard. And this one doesn't really matter, so I'm not going to change that. This will be the drips card. And let's have a different amount of money like this. And then the last color is going to be the green one, so green start and green end. So this is it for our list of cards and the function that gives us the gradient color. So now let's start creating our section. So let's create it. It's going to be a composable function, fun cards section, and it will have a lazy row. So lazy row, this one won't have content actually, but we will have the items, so items inside it, and the count or the size is going to be cards.size. And then I'm going to create a card item that I'm just going to create right now in a second. Basically, for those who don't know, a lazy row is just like a recycler view but horizontally, as you can see. So it's like a row, but it loads its items like in a lazy way, you could say. So you could say now the last one isn't loaded until I scroll there, and then it's loaded. So it loads them when I want them, when I need them, when I scroll. That's where we use a lazy row. And this items block right there, right? I mean this items function, just like a for loop that will loop through the numbers of times that we want it, so the size of the cards, and then every time it will create a composable function. Now this one first it needs the index that is going to be it, or better name is, let's create it as index like this, because this one actually it returns for me the index where we are. So index, and we need to pass the card that we want to the function. So card is going to be cards and index like this, or we can actually just not pass this one right here, but create it inside the function to make it more simple. Now let's create some space in here, or I've already created actually. Now let's create that function, which is the card item function. So composable fun card item, that is going to take index of type int, and that should be a var. Let's give it a body, or actually not, we don't need that, var right here. And let's first create our item card. So var like this, card is just going to be the index we passed. And then let's create our first of all, I'm going to create the padding for the last item, because I'm going to have, you could say, padding from the start of each item like this, but for the last item, if I only have padding in the start, it will look like this. This is how it's going to look like. That's why I'm going to add padding in only for the last item, and I don't want to add it for all these other items, because then I will need to add padding start for the first item, and you know, it's going to be messy. That's why I'm only going to add padding into the last item, so it has space from the end there. So var last item padding, to create that variable, and actually padding end. So to be more specific, by default it's going to be 0dp, but if the index is the last one, so is equal to cards.size minus 1. So if we are in the last item, then this last padding end is going to be 16.dp, so only for the last item, but for the other items we're not going to have that. And then the image type, so whether it is a Visa card or a MasterCard, so var image, I'm just going to call it image, is equal to painter. So this is by default is going to equal to a painter resource r.drawable.visa by default. But if the card type, this one, is equal to MasterCard, so MasterCard, I didn't put that inside two brackets, like this. If that is equal to a MasterCard, then this image is no longer going to be a Visa, but rather a MasterCard like this. And now let's create our box that will hold all these components, which is the image and these other texts. So let's create a box that is going to take a modifier for the padding, as I said. So padding, by default, padding start is always going to be 16.dp, but also the end padding is going to be last item padding, and for all the items it's going to be 0, so no padding, but for the last item it's going to be 16.dp. And let's add a little preview right here to see what we are doing. So preview, and let's open the preview window so we'll see what we are doing. Like this. Right now nothing, but once we start, we will start seeing things. Let's format this a little bit, not like this, but padding needs to go down like this. And then inside our box we'll have a column for these texts, for the image, in everything, actually for everything, not just for the text, but for everything is going to be inside a column. I'm tired. So a column, let's create it. So column that will take a modifier actually. So modifier is going to be modifier dot, let's clip that so it has rounded corners. So rounded corner shape 25.dp, and then let's have the background, which is going to be the background that we have from our card item, and then the width of that width is going to be 250.dp, and then the height is going to be 160 dp. I think that's the best or the most beautiful looking size. So this actually we have now the preview. So 215 and the width, and 116 and the height, and then they will be clickable. So dot clickable like this, and we'll add now padding. So padding, vertical padding is going to be 12.dp. So padding vertically like this from the top and the bottom, and then horizontal padding is going to be 16.dp. So we would have more padding from right here and right here, so the start and the end. And then I'm actually again going to use that space between. So vertical arrangement is going to be space between, so that I'm going to push the image all the way to the top and the other text to the bottom. So inside here, let's now create my text. The first one is actually going to be an image. So image, that is going to be a painter, which is image that I've created. This one, that is either going to be Visa or MasterCard. And then the content description is going to be card.name. So card name, let's format this. And then it will take a modifier, so to make it small, because as you can see it's too big. So modifier width, that's the only thing I'm going to specify, 16.dp, and now they will be small, as you can see, and they are in the right position. Now let's create the texts. So text, the first text is for the this one, the name of the card. So we're going to say card name, and then the color of that is going to be white all the time. So color, white color. We're not going to use any like dynamic color or something. And then the size, so font size is going to be 17.sp, as I said, for text. Import that. And then the font weight is going to be bold. So font weight is going to be bold. And the last thing is the padding. So I'm going to use some padding from the top, or instead of padding from the top, let's actually create a spacer, but let's just use padding, or let's use a spacer right here. So spacer is going to have a height of 10.dp. So that's the first text. Now I'm just going to copy this text and paste it for the other ones. paste and paste. The other text is going to be this one, the balance and the card number. So this one is going to be balance, actually not like this. First of all, I'm going to put this inside a text, and then I'm going to just add this like this, and I'm going to have a dollar sign so that it says like dollar, as you can see, and this will be a little bigger, so I'm going to use 20 SP, I mean 22, and then the last text is going to be the card number. So the card number is going to be 18.sp, and you guys, this is it for this one. That's it. This is now our items, and if we go to our main activity for that to refresh, here are our items. Let's run the app and see if we can scroll and if we have that padding in the end. Yes, we do have this padding in the end, and each one has the appropriate image. We can now close this and then go back to our app. Now let's create the finance section, which is this section. So uncomment this, and then in our root package, Kotlin class or file, finance. So my finance section also will have a list. So let's first create that. So var finance, I'm going to call them finance, I'm going to call it finance, which is a list of. Now again, I'm going to create the data class for that. So new class, new data class, this one that is going to be finance, and inside it we'll need an icon. So this icon is going to be an image vector, so icon of type image vector, and the name of say need val, so the name of the like item is going to be of type string, and then the background of that, so background is going to be of type color, and we need val right here, but actually not the background of the item itself. I need an R here, actually not the background of the item itself, but rather the icon container, this little icon container. That's what we are defining there. So now let's create our first item, finance, and the icon ID for the first one. So icon ID, or just icon, is going to be icons dot default all rounded rather dot star half, this one, and then the name, so name is going to be what was it, my business, my wallet, finance analysis, and my transaction. So name is going to be my, and I'm going to go to a new line for this, /n my business, so business, like this, and then the last one is going to be the background, that is going to be an orange color for that one. So just again copy and paste this one a few times for the other items. I'm going to create 4 items. This second one is going to be my wallet. I'm going to call it my wallet, wallet, like this, and it will have a blue color, so blue start. Of course the colors I've already defined in my colors file. Let's create some space here, and this one is going to be wallet. The icon for this one is going to be the text is going to be finance analyzes, so analytics actually, analytics, like this, and it will have a purple color, so purple start, and then the last one is going to be my transactions, so transactions, and the color is going to be green. so green start, and then the icon is going to be monetization, so monetization on. So after that, let's now create our function. We've just created our items, so our function is going to be a composable function. So composable fun finance section, I guess that's what I called it. And I'm going to add the preview annotation, so preview, and my section is going to be just a column, and then my section is going to be a column. So why a column? Because we have two things, the icon and the text under it. So you're going to use a column. We won't have any modifier, but instead just a text. Actually the common is going to be for this one, this text, and then this item below it, not inside what's inside the item. So text, this text is going to be finance, finance like this, and then the font size is going to be 24 sp, so a little bit big. Let's import that and format this. I don't know what it's now formatting, now it did. And then the color of this, so color is going to be material theme, so material theme dot color scheme dot on background, that's the color I'm going to use. And then the weight of the colors, so the text font weight is going to be bold. And then the modifier, so that would have some padding, so a modifier, we need that to have some padding of 16.dp. and let's check what we are doing in our preview window like this. After that, so this, I'm not sure why it's not showing this text, but it will show right now. After that, inside our column, now this with again going to create a lazy row as the card section, so lazy row, and we won't have a content but instead items like this, so items, and we're going to use this one, that is this finance.size, so finance.size. And then again I'm going to create a finance item, so finance item, that is going to be take the index, so just it for this one. And then down here I'm going to create that one, so composable fun finance item, that is going to take an index of type int. And then inside my item I'm going to create the finance item, so var, I'm just going to call it finance, I guess, finance, that is equal to finance list, so finance dot I don't remember the name of the, so this one I called it finance, instead it should be called finance list like this, that's a better name. And let's paste that here and here as well, so finance list like this, and index. Again I'm going to create the last padding for the last item, the same as the other section, so var last item, or just last padding, and like this is going to be 0 by default, but if index is equal to my finance list dot size -1, then that's the last item. I don't know what's going on, that's the last item, and it's going to actually be 16dp, so last dot 16.dp. I did not write dp here. And then let's create our column for the icon and the text inside it. So let's create a comment right here that is going to take a modifier. Modifier is equal to modifier, I don't know what's going on, modifier dot clip to have rounded corners, clip 25.dp, and then dot background, that is going to be material theme dot color scheme dot secondary container, and then the size of the item is going to be 120 dp and clickable, so we would have that click effect on it, and padding, last one, 13.dp. Now we are seeing our items, as you can see, and actually I'm going to also use that space between in the vertical arrangement, so vertical arrangement space between, and then inside here I'm going to create the box for my icon, so this little box that will contain the icon, so box that of course needs a modifier dot of also clip to have rounded corners, so dot clip says 16.dp, and then right here dot background, so the background of the finance item dot background, and then we'll have padding dot I don't think I want padding, but let's add that, I think we need it. And then inside my box I'm going to create my icon, not icons but icon, let's import that one, and inside this we need an image vector. I don't know if I've imported this one, so this one is what I need. Image vector is going to be finance dot icon, and content description is going to be finance dot name, and the tint, it's always going to be white, so tint white, oops, white, like this, as you can see. And then the size of that, but I don't think I need to give it a size. After that I'm going to create a text, the text of the title inside my comment, so text, the text is going to be finance dot name, and again I'm going to use the color for this one, I mean a color for this one, which is going to be color color is going to be material theme dot color scheme dot on secondary container, and then we'll make it bold, so font weight is going to be bold or just semi bold, I guess that's going to be better. Then the font size, so font size is going to be 15.sp. so we've created those items, and actually I did not add padding for this one. And to add that padding, actually if I add padding right here it won't look good, that's why I need to surround this by a box. I'm going to put everything by in a box, so padding, and this will be again start is going to be 16.dp, and end is going to be that last padding item I've created, and then I'm just going to put everything inside there like this. So here are now my items, they are working just fine. We can see that in our main activity, as you can see them. And now the last item, which is the currencies item, and possibly the most complex one, because as you can see we have this expandable section like this, and inside it we have these currencies. So let's start with that. So let's uncomment this, copy this one, and let's go to our main package, and let's create a file for it. Oops, not a new package but a new Kotlin class or file, so let's create that one. And then inside it we're going to create the list of currencies, so again var currencies like this is equal to a list of, and then let's create the data class for currency inside my data package right here. a new Kotlin class or file. It's going to be called currency, like this. And actually it is a data class and it needs a constructor. Open that. So and inside it we'll need a name of the currency, so name of type string, and then the second one is going to be var by, this one I'm going to call it, and it is a float. And then just duplicate that, then create a cell, and then the last one is going to be the icon of the currency, so icon is of type image vector, like this. This is it for this one. And then inside here I'm going to create now my currencies here. So the first one, currency, oops, I think that's the wrong one. What is mine? This is the one. Let's import the right one. And then the name for this first one is going to be USD, and the buy is going to be, let's just write some number, oops, like this, and then if, and then the cell, so just duplicate this again. This is going to be the cell. Let's just make it a little bit different, like 20. And then the last one is the icon, so icon is going to be icons dot rounded dot attack money, this one, which gives us the $sign. Yes, so this is it for the first currency. Basically we'll just copy this and paste it a bunch of times for the other currencies. Let's create like 6, I think that's 6 currencies. The second one is going to be euro, so euro, I think that's how we spell that. And cell, and just make it different, I don't know, any random number like this. This one, the icon is going to be euro again. And then the third one is going to be yen, then again a different number, and then this one is going to be yen, just write yen, and that is it. So I think let's just duplicate these, the first 3 ones, let's just duplicate them, and then we can of course change these numbers right here. We will not actually going to change anything else because we don't have any, I don't know any more currency. These are all the ones that I know. But yes, let's create space, and now let's start creating our actual section. So in my currency section, I'm first going to create, I'm going to write the preview annotation and composable annotation, and then fun currencies section, like this. I think I made a typo here, I don't need this E. And then the first thing is that we want to trigger whether our currencies are visible or not. So let's just show the preview first so that we'll be seeing what we are doing. So we want to trigger whether these currencies are visible or not with of course just a variable, a boolean one. So actually a mutable state of boolean. So var, it will be mutable is visible is equal, or by remember, so by remember like this, mutable state of false. So at initially it won't be visible, and I don't need an A here, like this, so it's visible. And then the icon state, what icon? This icon. So if I go back to my app, where is it? Is it this one? Nope, this is the one that I'm working on. I'm just going to launch it. So this is the app. If I go to my app here, you see this little icon. It actually changes, like when I want to close it, it has this arrow down, and then when it's closed, it has this arrow up like this. So I'm actually going to also create a mutable state for that. So let's just import some things here. That's it. And then let's copy this one and create our icon state. So I'm just going to call it icon state by remember icons dot rounded dot keyboard arrow up at first. So it will be up because when we start this one, the app, it will go up to open it and then down to close it. So these are the two states I need, and then I'm going to create a column. So the column actually for everything, because as you can see we have a row and then followed by this little line and then another section here, which is again just another column with a row and then a lazy column that also has a bunch of rows inside it. This one is going to be a little complex, and I advise you to watch this to see how you can create something like this and how you can make this little thing and this little animation of expanding and collapsing. So let's get started with the column. So column, and that is going to take a modifier. So modifier dot we need to have rounded corners in the top right corner and the top left corner and top right corner. So dot clip rounded corner shape. As I said, this is how we can create rounded corner shapes. So top start is going to be 30.dp, not sp, dp, and then top end as well 13.dp, like this. And then the second thing is going to be the background. So background, as I said, this will have the same background as the bottom navigation that I said earlier. This one in Visor on surface, this is the same background that I'm going to use. I'm just actually going to copy this line and then paste it right here like this. So this is my background. And then the last thing is to make the animation. So we're going to just write animate content size. So when we don't need all of this, we're just going to have it like this. So this little function call right now is going to actually animate any change in the size of our column, or basically of our composable, because this one is in the modifier, so we can use it with any composable. And then inside my column I'm going to have a row. So let's create my row right here. A row, as I said, I don't know if I said it, but a row just for this icon and this text. So row, that is going to take a modifier as well. So modifier dot, because we need a bunch of things. First of all, we need padding, so padding of 16 dp, and then we need again animate content size, so animate content size like this, and then we need to fill the max width, so fill max width. That's it for the modifier, but we actually need to put our items inside this little row centered vertically. So we're just going to write vertical alignment is going to be centered vertically like this. So this is it for our row. Now we're going to create the content inside it. We're going to create a box for this little icon and then put icon inside it, and then the text currency. So box, that will take a modifier, so modifier dot clip. We're going to make it a circle, so circle shape, this one. And then down here we need to create the background for this. So background is going to be material theme dot color scheme dot secondary, and then we're going to make it clickable. So this is where the magic actually happens. This is where we expand and then collapse the currency section. So to make first of all, we need to actually change this state so it's visible. So basically at first, of course, it's not visible, and then we're going to make it invisible. I mean, so it's not visible, and then we're going to make it visible, and when it's invisible we're going to make it visible. So that's very simple. We're just going to write is visible will be equal to the opposite of itself, so is visible like this. So it's going to be just the opposite value, and then we just check this one. So if is visible, the icon, so our icon is going to be row up, so icon state dot value, or not dot value, just icon state is equal to icons dot rounded dot keyboard up, like this. And then in else, let's just copy this line. Oops, copy this line. Else, now it's going to be down, so arrow down like this. And then after our inside actually our box, now inside my box I'm going to create my icon. So icon, and we're going to use this one, so this one, an image vector that is going to be my icon state, and then the content description is going to be we could just say currencies like this. Let's just format this, and my icon also will take a modifier, so modifier just for the size of it, so dot size is going to be 24.dp, and the tint of the icon, last thing, so tint is going to be material theme dot color scheme dot secondary. Because we used actually secondary here, we can use on secondary this one. I think it should be fine. Here we have a little bit of a thing that we can just, and also you can fix it for us, so that we assign the value for the icon state. After that, we're going to create the text, but the text will be outside the box, of course, and inside the row. So text, the text is just going to be the thing that tells us, hey, we are in the currencies section, which is this little text. So the text is going to be, of course, currencies, so currencies like this. And then the text is going to take a modifier, so just let me format this like this. Modifier is needed here, so modifier is going to be just for the padding, so padding at the start, so we would have some little, or let's create a spacer, that's possibly better. Spacer width is going to be 20 dp, so 20.dp, to have a little bit of space between the text and the icon. And then the font size of this text, so font size is going to be 20 sp, so a little bit big, and import sp. And then we're going to go for the color, so color of the text, material theme dot color scheme dot on secondary container like this. And then the font weight, we're going to make it bold, so font weight is going to be bold like this. And then after that, outside our row, we're going to create this little line. As you can see here, we have a little line. I'm just going to create that using a spacer, basically. So spacer modifier, the height of it is going to be 1.dp, but then also the background, or fill max width actually, so fill max width. And then the background is going to be let me just format this, material theme dot color scheme dot secondary container. So we just created that little line. We can just format this, and then we're going to create this section, this one that has now these items. So everything is basically shown depending on the variable we've already created, of the state, I mean, not the variable, but anyway, it's a variable, but it's a state that now tells us whether to show that little part or not. So if is visible, we're going to show it, else we're not going to. And that's going to be inside a box with constraints, so box with constraints. And maybe you haven't used this one yet, but it's a really cool little composable that makes us get the width of our box, so the width of this box, and then we can do anything with that width. Like for example, what we are going right now is that we're going to get the width of this little box and then divide that by 3 so that each part of this will be equal. So basically this part is going to be the first one, and then the items will be assigned to the start of it, so you could say it ends right here. And then the second part, which is this one that ends right here, everything will be aligned, not assigned, as I said, aligned to the end of this one. And then this one as well, the last one, is everything will be aligned to the end to have this little beautiful like UI, because if they were assigned in this aligned in the center, they wouldn't look cool. That's why I use box with constraint to make them aligned all the way to the end of each little part. That these parts, as I said, we get from dividing the width that we can get from this box with constraints. So first of all, our box is going to take a modifier. So modifier dot, we need to make it fill the max size that it has, so fill all the space. And then we need padding, so padding, just the horizontal padding of 16.dp. And then we're going to have rounded corners as the same from the top start and the top end. So rounded corner shape, top start is going to be 25.dp, and top end is going to be as well 25.dp, like this. And then the next thing in our modifier is going to be the background, which is going to be material theme dot color scheme dot background, like this. So this is it. Now inside our box with constraints, we're going to get the width. So var box with constraints scope, to get the width we need this. So we're going to assign this. So this one, actually we can, with this one we can get the width now. So var width is going to be box with constraint dot max width, and then we're going to divide that with 3, as I said. So like this, 3, divide that by 3. So this little width is actually our box with constraints width, so all this space but divided by 3, so each part is like almost this big or this wide. And now after that, we're going to create our common, and the common is going to be for this part. Right now we're going to have this little part here that has just, you could say, the titles and then the lazy common. So common that takes a modifier to fill the max width. So modifier is going to be fill max width, like this. That's it. And then inside it again we'll have a row, because as you can see this part is a row. We have 3 texts in a row. And my row, let's create my row. That my row will take a modifier to fill the max width again. So modifier fill max width. And also we'll need padding top, so to create, or let's not use padding top because I can just use a spacer. So spacer height says 16.dp, like this. Now inside my row I'm going to create 3 texts, which are of course this one and these ones, and the width of each one is going to be this width that we got from our box with constraints. So let's create the first one, text. Let's form, I'm not sure it's not going to be formatted, but let's do it manually. So text is going to be first one guarantees, just guarantee actually. And then the next thing is a modifier. We need a modifier, but let's put the modifier at the top. Modifier, basically we need to give it the width. Got this part, the width. So width is going to be of modifier dot width is going to be my width that I've created, and then padding, so dot padding just from the start to have a little bit space here in the start, but actually it is aligned to the start, so just to have this little space. Or actually, instead of having padding right here, I think there is a better way to do this, which is having padding in my row. So I mean in my columns, so everything inside the column will have this padding, so from everywhere. So inside my row right here, I'm just going to say padding 16.dp. I think that's better, of just having padding in each text, for example. And then in my text, the typical thing like font weight is going to be semi-bold for this, semi-bold, which is this one. And then the font size is going to be 16.sp, and the color, so color is going to be material theme dot color scheme dot on background, like this. And then just basically copy this text 2 more times for the 2 other texts. The 2 other texts are this buy and sell, so this one is going to be buy and sell. But as I said, these 2 texts will be aligned to the end of their width. So right here we're going to add another property, which is align. So text align is going to be end, text align dot end for this one, and this one as well. So this is it for the 3 texts. Now outside my row, I'm going to create now my lazy column to put all these items that are scrollable inside the column, so inside the parent column. So lazy column, we don't need content, we actually need a modifier here. So modifier is going to be a modifier just padding, so dot modifier dot padding is going to be just from the top, or do I need, so let me just see, yes, maybe I need a little bit padding right here, or a spacer. Oh my god, I'm not going to use padding while I can just use a spacer. So I just always just forgot, oops, using a spacer, just height 16.dp like this, and I don't need that padding anymore. Inside my lazy common, I'm going to create the items. So items, the count is going to be my currencies list, so currencies dot size, and I'm going now to create a currency item. So currency like this item, and to that I'm going to pass the current position. So index, I'm just going to say index, and right here index as well, like this. Now let's create this one. So all the way outside my function, I'm going to create another one, composable fun currency section, I mean currency item, and this will take an index int, so index int, and then I forgot to actually pass the width as well, so not only the index but the width, because the same actually, if we go here, we need that width as well to just align these 2 texts to the end. So we can pass that, so width of type dp, this one, and import that. So let's just pass them and format this like this. Index is index, and then width is width, like this. Very easy. Now let's just create the item. You can actually pass the item right from here, and you can just create it right here. It's the same, and I'm going to create it. So var currency, currency is going to be currencies index. You can pass it or create it, it's the same. And then I'm going to create a row, actually a row for this. So this little icon, this text, and then this other 2 texts, the same as this. Actually it's going to be the same thing, but we just have now an icon instead of just 3 texts. I mean an icon with 3 texts instead of just 3 texts. So row that is going to take a modifier modifier dot fill max width again, and then padding from the bottom, so padding bottom just to have a space between each item, 16.dp, and then the vertical alignment. But to have access to that, we first need to create a little content like that, and then we want to have a vertical alignment to be centered again, so vertical alignment center, the same as the first row that we've created. Now inside here, now let's create my icon. So this icon will be inside a box. To see that, as you can see here, it is inside this little box, a green box, basically a box that will take a modifier. So modifier dot, we need to have rounded corners, so clip rounded corner shape 8.dp, like that. And then let's go to a new line, format this, also make this one in a new line, and then we're going to have the background, which is going to be green, so background green, and I'm going to use the green start, the one that I've already created, and then some padding. So padding is going to be 4.dp, like this. And then inside my box, I'm going to have the icon. So icon, oops, not icons, icon image vector is going to be currency dot icon, and then it will also take a but first the content description, that is going to be currency, oops, currency dot name format, oops, it's not formatting. Now the modifier that we need for this, just for this size, so size, actually modifier dot size is going to be 18.dp, and then we need the color for this, so tint is going to be white all the time, so white, just the color dot white, this one. And yes, this is it for our icon. It should be there now, but I don't know if I can see that yet. Actually, let's run the app and see where we are right now. As you can see here, it is, but we can't see the icons yet. Or here they are, we can see them actually. So these are the icons, and these are the text we've created. And as you can see, this one actually does not go to the bottom when I try to collapse it and expand it again. The problem is that in my currencies section, if we scroll up all the way here to the parent column, we actually need to put this inside a box and then align all the content inside that box to the bottom, so that it goes to the bottom like that. So it's very easy, just write box. That will take a modifier to first of all fill the max size, so fill max size like this, and then we'll have some padding from the top, or we can have a little bit of space, but just for the sake of simplicity, let's just say padding. And then let's format this. Now inside here, let's go to a new line, and I'm going to say content alignment is going to be bottom center to make that go all the way to the bottom. And let's create now the content, and let's put this column inside it, so all the way to the bottom here. And now it is inside now that box, but now in our column, as you can see, it just went to the bottom, but inside our column, and we need to oh, actually I don't have it. I thought I've written fill max size, but I did not write it. But this one needs to be top, so padding from the top, and now it will be looking fine. So let's go back to the preview and wait for it to render, update. I don't know if it's updated. Yes, as you can see now it's fine. And if I launch the app, as you can see, it's expanding and collapsing all the way fine, and we have our icons. Now we just need to add the little buy, sell, and sales little texts. They are very easy, so let's do that real quick. Let's go right here and add them. So right here inside my row, there are going to be three texts. The first one is going to be, let's go to the app, this one, this little, the currency name and the buy text and sell. So let's create the, for all, it's not like create it. Why would we create it since we already have a text? Let's just copy that and paste it right here, and let's see what we are going to change. First of all, we need, for this one we need a little bit of padding from the start, so just 10 dp, but just the start, so it has some little padding or some little space between it between itself and the icon. We can use a spacer, but let's just do it like this. And then the text is going to be currency.name, and then of course this one is going to be bold, which is the weight, and the text size is going to be 18.sp, and this one is going to be the same, but then we won't have a text alignment, but we need it for the other two, so let's just paste them and remove this one right here. And then for the other text, which is for the buy, we're just going to change now this thing, the text, and let's first have a little $sign and then another $sign to add our currency buy, so currency.buy, and the text size is going to be a little small, so 16.sp. and yes, this is it for this one. And now the same for this one, so let's remove that and the little $sign, another one, and add our currency dot sell right now, and the text size is going to be 16sp. So I think this is it. Now, do we need anything else? I guess that's all we need. Let's now just run our app and see if everything is all right, if we have our texts or not. Yes, we have them, but now we can see that some things need to be fixed. As you can see, this text is not the same in the same place as this one, so we're just going to fix this right now. And then we as well have too much padding from here, and right at the bottom here we shouldn't have this space, so let's fix that. Let's go to the currency section and then go all the way to this little box in here and icon. The problem is that I give my text the width, so, and the text actually starts from right here, so the width is starting from right here, and normally that's the width of this entire thing, so this little part that is before the text is not even in count. So what I can do is now having an outer box, an outer row right here. So we're just going to say row that is going to have a modifier dot width is going to be now this one, this little width that I can just copy and then remove this line from here. Just now have this little width from here, in here, and then let's put this text and icon inside my row. And then let's just align the content, so vertical alignment to the center. So let's put them in the center, and then we have a little error here. Maybe I'm missing, so I should remove one. So now the error is gone. Now let's run the app and see if we now fixed the little bit of the mistake that we had. Yes, it's fixed now, but now let's remove this space. Let's by removing that, we need to go all the way up here, and then to this box with constraints. As you can see, inside it we have this column, and then we set padding, which is actually a mistake that I made, because I should now only say padding horizontal instead of padding, so we should only have the padding horizontally. And run the app again and see, hopefully it's not even showing. Let's run it again and see. Yes, as you can see now, that extra padding is gone and the UI is working fine. If I change to dark theme, it also changes, it closes, because I don't handle any screen orientations or configuration changes. We do need to add a little bit of space between this little line and this little section here, or this little, I guess, box or box with constraints, you can do that. It's really easy. Just add padding or spacer or something, but I'm not going to do that right now. And yes, this is for the video. We've just created this banking app UI, which is kind of complex because, as I said, it uses a lot of things like bottom navigation, scaffolds, columns, box with constraints, lazy rows, lazy columns, text and icons, like everything possibly would need in a screen or a UI is actually used right here, and colors and gradients. So I tried doing everything that you may need to use in Compose in this little banking app UI, so that you would know how to create such things and then create them by yourself. You can always expand this, do it the way you want, or get a different UI from somewhere and then create it, build it yourself. And hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, please leave a like, don't forget to subscribe. If you have any questions, you can ask. If you don't like something, you can comment to this so I can improve my content. Thanks for watching, and see you in another one.